the AFL back in season 2 was by far one of the most difficult seasons to keep track of stat-wise in league history. I mean, we're lucky that we do have some records from AFL season 1 and from season 2 as it is, since back then it was more harder to track stuff and, this. But now fast forward to season 12, the league has grown a lot more, and it's basically more easier to track things and, all that stuff. And mind you, with that, they could go ahead and they can also look at, well, there's a bunch of options. So I'm just gonna go ahead and really just dive into this topic because this is just a very interesting topic to really discuss. So season 2 in the AFL, mind you, it's basically the second season of the league, and the first season was a rolled out success. With the fact that in that first season, we went ahead and we saw Calvin 5 win MVP and quarterback of the year. It was impressive. Lord Pred won DE of the year. Head coach went to AO Oof. And the Super Bowl had a fantastic finish. So, with all that happening and all that weird stuff, and this goes ahead and also raises a bit of a question. And that question is, what did season 2 look like? Now, keep in mind, when it came to season 2 statistics, they were horrible at recording it. I'm sorry. It's just, whoever was trying to record it, I appreciate we appreciate your attempts now, but just please no. No. That is literally how horrible it was. It was just the worst game you would ever witness. but that doesn't say that this season did see some success to a certain extent, though. I mean, in the season where stats were incomplete, there was some stats that were pretty much accurate, though. First thing we have to really start off with is looking at the MVP of that season, which was the Lord Pred, and which was somewhat of a decent year for him. 33 touchdowns against 9 picks, 2,490 yards. And with that, he even went ahead and he even led a Jets team to the Super Bowl to play against the Seahawks. But today's topic about it is not really about the Super Bowl. Mind you, it's talking about one team in particular that could have went to the Super Bowl, but just kind of oofed up their chances. And that is what we're going to be talking about today. So with basically now going ahead and that getting out of the way, let's look at basically what I am talking about. So in season 2, there was really just one. It was just really just one team that you can say for sure that could have been Super Bowl contenders, and that of course was the LA Rams. And mind you, this Rams team they were actually pretty good. Like, I will give credit where it's due to this team. Were they basically went ahead and they were good. Now, to look at the quarterback of the team, they were quarterbacked by V. Tyler, who at this point now we has basically made it to the AFL Hall of Fame. So shout out to him for going ahead and doing that. So with him going ahead and basically him being a Hall of Famer, this is the second season of of his career, and he was fresh off of of the Super Bowl as he was wide receiver for for the Vikings, who ultimately lost to Calvin 5. Which, by the way, he was playing in second season as well, but just not as active. If you know what I'm saying. Anyways, Tyler was had a good season in the regular season. 26 touchdowns against 12 picks, 1,180 yards, 88 completions on 152 pass attempts. This by far was better stats than basically the other team. I mean, it was, mind you, the other team that they had to go and really deal with was the Seahawks, and they were also the Cardinals, who somehow barely made the playoffs. So I'm not really going to go ahead and go into that little situation there. Hashtag I shudder. So with that going ahead and basically now being said, there basically has seen a bit of context. Now, in the playoffs, though, before we go ahead and we get started, the Rams went ahead and basically managed to go ahead. And in season 2, they managed to clinch the playoffs and the top seed in the conference with a surprising record of 10-2. Mind you, this is literally the best record in the league. And of course, there's also some other facts you also got to learn and look at. I mean, there was also the AS. There also was the Buccaneers, which was a team that, well, was also really decent contenders themselves. But I'm pretty sure there's not much people that really remember a Bucks team in the playoffs. As the Bucks in the AFL, they've had little to no success. But anyways, the Bucks basically clinched the second seed, and they went, and with the Rams having the best record in the division, they went ahead and sent the divisional rivals, which was the Seahawks, who went 8-4. And mind you, 8-4 at this point, it's pretty much better than it was better than basically than one team that basically did win the division. That, of course, was the Dallas Cowboys, and the Cowboys went 6-6. So they matched to force the Seahawks to play the wild card round. The Cardinals to go ahead and actually steal the Eagles' playoff spot. And there was a bunch of other things too. Now, mind you, I'm pretty sure this was a game that, well, kind of went was a bit of a off and on thing, but this game and that we're gonna be talking about basically goes ahead and supports and asking the Rams head coach at the time, I'm pretty sure it was V Tyler, just why. Now, mind you, the Rams went ahead and got to business in the playoffs. They went ahead and got the first round bye, and the Cardinals came into town and they beat them 22-15. So that set up the conference championship, in a rematch with the Seahawks. And mind you, this Seahawks team weren't jokers, because last second they went ahead and they acquired the quarterback of the year, Kyretra, who also won defensive back of the year. So you have the DB of the year / QB of the year, and very well rounded the MVP. If that is if the Lord probably went ahead and basically didn't steal that MVP though, but that's okay. Anyways, it was a championship round, and you'd think that in this round the Rams would start V Tyler at QB. And mind you guys, starting V Tyler at this point was a better idea, considering that the fact that the Rams basically had a one hoof advantage over the Seahawks. But once again, the Seahawks basically had a player of their own. So this looked like an easy win, but except it wasn't, though. So before we go ahead and in the surprising move before the game started, the Seahawks, who, yes, they were the favorites, they went ahead and basically got treated to surprise when the Rams had announced that they were going to start quarterback Sean HTX for this matchup. Now, mind you, before we even go ahead and get to context about this conference championship game, Sean HTX and his time as a league QB, he's basically has very good experience, and he very well, you can say might well have been and will be capable of stuff. So, and mind, this was a man that basically had made it to 6 straight victory bowls, going ahead and winning 3 of them. So once again, entering this matchup, this looked like a good move. Johnny CX was going to QB. V Tyler was going to go ahead and wide receiver. Stuff was going to go wrong. Well, stuff wasn't going to go wrong anyway. But anyways. Now, as for the Seahawks, they would have Kyretra at QB, as he basically stole the starting job over from Platinum winner. Now, basically the matchup being set, it was time to go ahead and see how good these players would do. Now, on the first drive of the game, Sean HTX basically went right immediately to work, as the first play was a pass to V Tyler. A few plays later, on a 1st and 10, Sean will fire a deep ball that will result in a 54-yard touchdown. As YSL man was open wide open on the other side for pretty much a big bomb. And then on the 2-point, they went ahead and they caught it, but he got tackled short, so it's no good. As they try to go ahead and throw it to the man PD, but I don't know. The Seahawks basically came onto offense at this point with Kyretra at quarterback. Before we also go ahead and we continue with this one, keep in mind Kyretra at this point had some experience QBing in AFL. In season 1, he actually had started at QB in the conference championship game for the Texans against the Jaguars, but unfortunately, and largely to their shock, Calvin went ahead and led a comeback in the fourth quarter to not only force overtime, that threw a touchdown pass in overtime to YTJY to win the game. So you can tell. And mind you, the winner of this matchup will go and face the Jets in Super Bowl II, who just went ahead and finished their business defeating the Titans, who were quarterbacked by Calvin 5. So this right away had sparked some general interest with people. Anyways, it's the Seahawks' first drive, and Kyretra went ahead and in response got to work immediately, throwing a nice pass for a gain of 24. And then he went ahead and then on the next play, he surprisingly went ahead and he ran it. And mind you, I'm pretty sure that at this time, they also pretty much have made it that it's illegal to truck for quarterbacks, so. Anyways, the Seahawks went ahead and drove down the field, but that would be spoiled as it basically went ahead and saw miserable and hopeless get an interception very early. I'm pretty sure he was trying to go ahead and he was trying to throw the line screen to Ventrix if you actually went ahead and saw the game. But yeah. Mind you, I think we're actually going to go ahead and see the game right here. So, at this point, the Rams basically were forced to head back to work. Sean HTX back to throw. Simple stuff. Didn't find his man early. But a few plays later, he still couldn't find a man. Tries to test a deep ball. Vange there, but Vange couldn't hold on. Or Vange couldn't even get it. So Sean, deep downfield, finds a wide open Vange, and Vange picks up a first down, took it to the 50. It'll come to a surprise that, once again, the Seahawks would allow another conversion right there, as that got the Rams in the red zone. As you like to call it if you guys have watched my streams. Mind you guys, if you guys haven't already, go ahead and basically follow me on Twitch. But anyways, with that basically now going ahead and being said and done, Sean HTX back to throw. And there you go, a nice gain of 7. Things are looking great for the Seahawks. Well, I have to say for the Rams, but the Seahawks already we're still a stingy defense. And they even showed it later. as they went ahead and they got an interception on a pass that was intended for a good wide receiver there, only to get picked off by this man Phantoms here. And luckily that'll be a touchback, so they got to work from the 25. So Kyretra got a second chance to work with, and Refrigerator Pie couldn't really block, so and resulted in Kai being sacked. So anyways, Kai went to work again. He had plenty of time, and this time with some time to throw. He needed to throw at this point, but he ended up forcing a throw that ended up being intercepted by Sean HTX. Now, at this point, people were pretty much clowning and were criticizing Kai. Basically, we will have to go ahead and show you another video, and basically a karma moment. People thought Kai was washed. He was just inexperienced, blah, blah, blah. You guys know. It's a simple drill that, to this day, I'm pretty sure people would like to go ahead and really see quarterback suffering. But anyways, Sean fires a deep pass, ended up being intercepted by Phantoms. Just went ahead and basically gave Kyretra and them a chance. But, mind you, this was basically a bit of an OFL XOFL matchup, and Kyretra was basically still acting like this was a bit of a rookie experience, and it showed there as Mr. went ahead and got a sack there that would result in the safety. Refrigerator Perry, buddy, what are you doing? Jet ski would go ahead and end the return, but it would be needless to say that this game would end resulting with the Rams then later on going ahead and going up 14-0, with Miss Drew catching getting a long touchdown for the Rams, and then with the 2-point basically going to end up being no good. Kyretra was basically forced to head back to work. Now Kyretra went ahead and he surprisingly decided to do the impossible here and set up. The Seahawks basically went ahead and decided to go long or go home. V. Tyler on Michael, and Michael went ahead and came down with it for the touchdown. A 66-yard touchdown right there on what was a rainbow of a fit. If you saw this replay, mind you, Kyretra threw this from his own 15. And found his man who came down at the 4 and actually punching in. And mind you, at this point, you wanted to go ahead and basically go for 2. But at half, the Rams tried basically any deep call chance that they got. And check down, but on a 4th down and 2, a pass to Drew was complete, but an intelligent play by Michael to dive for it, and he ended up tackling him for loss. And just like that, Seahawks went ahead and took over, and Kyretra, who was already hot on fire, threw a pass over Alright. So it was a nice little catch there. Needless to say, Kyrecho was back to throw, flips it, and he throws a second touchdown pass to Michael, which at this point went ahead and pretty much set the Seahawks up to go ahead and score on the 2-point. 2-point crossbody throw. Michael catches it again, and halftime came up. The second half looming, the Rams were forced to get back to work. And if we fast forward a bit, Coach was going ahead and was still taking any chance that he could to go ahead and knock any chance of this team coming back away. But anyways, a quick touchdown pass right there for his receiver Phantoms went ahead and gave the Seahawks the lead. And this lead, they would go ahead and they would never give it up all the way until the end. And for the 2-point, a smart play by Michael to just dive it in. Anyway, Sean HTX was forced to go back to work up and early. As in a battle for the sea, there was no time to rest. Anyways, he found a wide open receiver deep down the field, but Deadpool went ahead and or DeadX went ahead and got him. Anyways, the Seahawks basically at this point were still trying to go ahead and hold their lead straight up, and an incomplete pass right there. And now on a 3rd down and 10, Sean HCX went ahead and took a drop back, and mind you, he was chased by Ventrix and Refrigerator Perry, which I'm, by the way, very surprised that they went ahead and Refrigerator Perry has a good fan. Anyways, a deep ball was thrown and it was going to be incomplete. Not helping the Rams at all. But it wouldn't matter, because to start the 4th quarter, Sean would throw a pass over Platinum Winner and into the hands of a waiting Mistrew, going ahead and scoring a touchdown for the Rams. And on the 2-point to tie it up, the Seahawks went ahead and forced Sean HTX back. But Sean basically went ahead and threw it way too low and right into the hands of Ventrix. But you think that the Rams, if you're the Seahawks, you go to extend lead. Except really, they kind of didn't. This late in the game, Capture went ahead and basically did the one thing a quarterback would do. That is waste the clock. But although the Rams would go ahead and will get some occasional stops, the Seahawks would still continue to chew the clock down. And this is also a bit of a preview of to the 4th quarter that we would see in the Super Bowl in the Super Bowl after this. Even if the Rams were able to get sacks on a 2nd and 19, Karacho was able to have a 3rd and 9, but there was a sack there. 51 seconds left though, and this is 4th and 18, mind you. So when Karacho was forced to drop back, he basically went ahead and he looked. And he took a bunch of time. I mean a load of time. and he basically went ahead and threw a pass right to his founder's receiver for the gain of 30. At this point, the game was over. Because that first down was basically the Rams' last hope of winning the game. And on the last play of the game, though, too, the Seahawks would go ahead and would score a touchdown to go ahead and basically ice up the game. Thus going ahead and sealing the game and sending them to the Super Bowl. And for the Super Bowl, they went ahead and they pretty much went ahead and treated it very well, as Kyretra would go ahead and go on to win that Super Bowl 24-20, doing the same thing he did in the fourth quarter against the Rams, which was milking the clock. But after this game, people got a fair share of karma, but there was also a big question of why did Shawnee 6 QB that game when V. Tyler could have? I mean, in result, he actually very well could have, but I'm not sure basically what they're up to and all that stuff. But still, we basically do see a result there. Now, what will turn out for basically for the QBs that are behind that are basically queued up to this game? For Kyretra, this would go ahead and would send him for a Super Bowl trip that would help confirm on his road to prove to be one of the best QBs of all time. How we'll get to that in a moment. Anyway, Sean HTX would QB in AFL in Season 3, as he went ahead and he basically quarterbacked a Texans team that once again made the conference championship, only to lose to a future Hall of Fame quarterback. And if you guys can go ahead and you can take a guess, and if you guys didn't even guess right away, you probably would guess it. It would be Death VTL. As for V. Tyler, he would QB he would still QB the next season, as he went ahead and in the wild card round defeated Doms and the Cowboys 37-28, but will lose to ejected in the Seahawks 48-32. Kyretra would go ahead and would QB in Season 3, but even then, that time was brief because his wide receivers back then, well, that's just another story. But in the end, the Seahawks will go ahead and with that championship win against the Rams, they would just go ahead and would start a streak of 3 Super Bowls that they went to. And Kyretra being there for the times that they won. So with that, thank you for going ahead and pretty much and for watching this one, because for me, it took some time to go ahead and basically research this, but mind you, we also got to go ahead and look at other options. To go ahead and also really just talk about it. So, thank you guys really so much for going ahead and watching. And we appreciate basically all all the stuff that you went ahead and basically and enjoyed. So thank you guys for going ahead and watching this episode for of the Browns Comparisons podcast. We really go ahead and really appreciate it. Mind you, that if you guys can go ahead and follow me on my main channel, Brown DC, and go ahead and also check out other videos that we've done on the podcast. Aside from that, I'm your boy Brown DC, Chaos Brownie. You already know. And we'll see y'all in the next episode for another upload. Until then, see y'all next time. Peace out.